Kristen, are you able to take minutes?
Sure.
Okay. I'll also take minutes, so we'll have backup. Okay, so we have a prospective member visiting with us today. This is Rod. Hi, Rod.
Hi, Rod.
Should we go around and announce who we are? I'm Carol Ann. I'm the chair this year.
Just call on us, Carol Ann.
I'm Christine.
Whatever
Okay.
order you got us.
Christine?
I'm Christina Kendrick, and I've been out for a while, but I'm home now.
Carol?
I'm Carol Cushing. Been on the board for 3 years and on my second term of 3 years.
Okay, Patty?
I'm Patty Keene, and I've been on the board for close to 6 years, I think. And I also have someone to recommend for the board, my partner, Dan Reardon, who actually is here today. Uh-oh, where'd I go? I don't know what happened here. But yeah, so I was going to suggest him, and he would be interested also.
Okay.
How many do we need, by the way?
I think we need 3. 1 full member and 2 associate members. Ginger, are we okay
Hold
on
on a second. It says we're viewing Terry Stokes' screen. So Terry, you may have accidentally shared your screen.
Oh, I don't,
So down at the bottom, there's a choice for sharing your screen, and you may have accidentally clicked on that. You want to find that and stop sharing your screen with the rest of us. We can see your cursor zooming around, looking.
ouch.
I've lost the video here.
Yeah, hang
It's
on.
a,
Terry's trying to get her screen off the rest of our computers.
Oh, okay.
it says launch meeting, right?
Yeah.
That's Terry's screen. She's
Yeah.
got to get that turned off.
Well, I'm sorry to have lost things up here. I think the best thing for me to do is just to log off altogether and log in again.
All right, why don't you give that a try? Now we see your email.
Oh, isn't that nice?
All right,
Oh, and your background.
now we're seeing the background of your computer.
No.
Okay. She's
There
on.
we go.
All right. Okay. Sorry,
Righty.
we were in the middle of introductions and Patty was just finishing up last I knew.
Patty, were you finished?
Yes, I basically, yes, except I wondered if I should invite Dan to watch the meeting also or not.
Oh, sure. If he wants to sit in today, that would be great.
Okay, I'll invite him.
Ginger, does that work for you? Can you let somebody else in?
Yeah, it's a public link.
Okay. Oh, that's
You
true.
shouldn't have
Okay.
any trouble getting in.
He would have to come in beside me. We only have one computer here.
Okay. Okay. That's
Mask
fine.
on.
It's okay, he doesn't mind waiting.
Cuddle
Well,
up.
he can either sit with you today or you can join the meeting next month. Either way, that's fine.
Thank you.
We'd be happy to have him. Andrea, you're next.
Andrea Zoll, the FinCom advisor.
Dan.
Ginger.
Hi, Rod. I'm Ginger Quarles. I'm the COA director. Been the COA director for going on 10 years. 10 years in Concord and 7 years someplace else. So 17 years altogether.
Michael.
Michael Rudd, I've been a member of the COA board. This is my 5th year, I believe.
Michael?
Kristen.
Hi, Kristen Nelson. I've been on the board, I don't actually know how long, just over a year probably.
Oh, Kristen.
And Terry?
Hello, Terry Stokes, and I'm one of the newbies, and just getting to know people, and happy to see you all.
Thank you. Okay, that's it. We are missing a couple of members today. Maybe they'll join us later. Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes.
Are there any changes to the minutes?
Are you particular about typos?
About what?
Do you want to have typos mentioned by POS?
Yes.
It's just at the I have all these pages here. It's down at the bottom of the page. Well, it was about the person who had a meeting conflict. I don't know where that line is. I'm sorry. Anyway, it should have just been a TO instead of an SO to change the date for meeting
Okay.
the conflict of interest.
Oh, yep. Okay, I see it.
You see it?
I see it. Okay, I can fix
Good.
that.
Okay. And that's
Okay,
it.
any other changes? Someone want to move to accept the minutes?
Move to accept minutes.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, minutes approved. We had a quiet group today.
I've just spent the day trying to clear out a storage room from all the things that I had to get rid of when I moved down into my little apartment downstairs. Now I've got it all back again. I'm trying to figure out what to keep in my shed. So it's been one of those interesting days.
Okay. Should we start with liaison reports? Okay, Margaret's not here, so nothing from Minuteman Senior Services. Patty?
So Concord Housing Authority had its meeting October 1st, 2020. And nothing much new. There's still, but they have formed a search committee for a new executive director who plans to stay until the beginning of March, hopefully getting through a few things that are presently going on. So they have 5 people on this committee, a couple people who are residents in housing, and some other folks also, a couple people off the committee, and then another person who's with the Housing Services Office. Most of what generally is discussed at these meetings does not directly relate to us, so I often don't have much to report. And in fact, it led me to wonder, was it they who asked that we be there? Because I never feel that I have too much to report back. I know that if something came up about seniors or there were a place where I thought I could say something about that, I would. Mm-hmm. But generally, that isn't how the discussion goes. They're handling, finances and so forth. Mm-hmm. So I just wondered about that. Ginger, did we get a request from them? It seems to me that we send a representative there, or did we feel it's important to have one there in case?
I believe that's been the way it was since I've been on scene. I don't know how the initial invitation came. I think it was a discussion at some point amongst board members about where it would be appropriate to have an advocate and a liaison for the various committees in town. I suspect that was suggested because they have many senior citizens living there.
Right.
There might well be an issue that would be pertinent for us to know about, or for you to know about as a board, or for us to discuss. But things change.
Yeah.
I think it's worthy of the board having a discussion about which committees you think you should have representation on, at least as a visitor, even, not necessarily as a voting member. There might be another committee that this board should be considering. So maybe that could be a discussion for a future board meeting about which committees you really want to have representation on.
I think that's a good point, Ginger. And I also think if we do continue to go to these meetings, that it's probably a good idea to have the executive director from there come to one of our board meetings maybe once a year or something like that, because that at least really gets us a little more on the front burner of the executive director's mind, and could influence some things that she's working on. Anyway, that's my report, and that's it.
All right, thank you. I think it is important for you to go, but we might review the agenda for the meetings and determine whether there's a need for us to be there. And maybe we would only go on to meetings on occasion. We did have Miriam Nelson, what is her name? Marianne Nelson?
It
To a
is.
meeting last year, yes.
Yes.
So maybe when there's a new executive director, we'll invite him or her to the meeting. That would be a good idea.
Excellent.
Because there are a lot of seniors who live in Concord, so I think it's good to represent them.
Absolutely. I think you're right.
Okay. So maybe at our next meeting, we can maybe beforehand review the list of all the committees and boards that are part of Concord and determine whether there's someplace else that we need to be that would be more beneficial to the group. So we'll add that to our agenda for next month. Okay. Thank you, Patty.
Let me just ask who has a list. Ginger, do you have a list of the other boards or the other, that we could bring to next month's
It would be
meeting?
on Concord's website.
The whole
Okay.
list is on the website, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a list, but it is easily accessible at the town website. So maybe each board member could be asked to take a look at that before the next meeting and come to the meeting prepared to make suggestions on what committees you feel would be appropriate for the COA to send someone.
And so the exact website that we would go to would be what?
ConcordMA.gov.
And I don't mean to open a can of worms by asking, but since I haven't been a liaison to a committee and I don't really know the relationship and the purpose of the representation, I mean, I'm wondering if that would be helpful to understand before people start picking and choosing which ones would be most relevant. Like having worked on the age-friendly survey for Concord, there's a huge intersection of senior housing in Concord. Like that is an important point. So
Right.
are we just going to listen to their agenda? Are we going to, as Ginger even used the word, sort of be an advocate? Or what is the role of somebody who goes to the committee meetings? I mean, I'm sorry, I just don't, I haven't been in that position, so I don't know what the role is.
Mm-hmm.
The role is to attend the meetings and speak for the Council on Aging if anything comes up that's relevant, something needs information that needs to be conveyed to that committee or board, then that person would be responsible for doing that. I think most of the time it's just bringing back information to us about what was discussed.
So it's not so much an advocate, though. It really is to listen to them and report back to here. I mean, it feels like that's what it's been, but I'm wondering if there is a role as an advocate.
There absolutely, I think, would be. But the discussions in their monthly meetings really are focusing on different things. I haven't seen openings really, nor have I had something like prepared that we've agreed we want to speak about. So it's been basically listening and reporting back, but a lot of the details I don't go into in when I report back.
Andrea wants to say
Andrea?
something.
I'm not sure if it's appropriate for me to say anything, but I just
Yeah.
wondered if anybody from the Council on Aging has had any contact with any of the boards or the Junction Village project, which the Finance Committee was involved with this year. Also, if it's going to be an assisted living facility with apartments, different, I think 83 units, low, moderate, and market, a mixture of income. And I just didn't know if anybody from the Council on Aging had been involved or looked at any of that over the years. It's apparently it's going ahead.
Is that the
Initially,
one behind the
It may be
prison?
something that you may want to have look into because it's housing for, it'll be housing for elderly.
Okay. So that committee is still meeting?
Well, it's a developer that has, they're ready to break ground. But it's not a committee, it's been numerous committees involved with the project, with this Junction Village project, which I don't know, I don't know exactly how many years ago it started, 6, 7
We had a
years.
town meeting vote on it, actually. Yeah.
Well,
Is that the
this
one that's
last
behind
date,
the prison?
right. They wanted
Yes, it is.
more tax abatements and so forth. And so there was another vote, and they are ready to move ahead. But there's still a lot of hesitation, I know, in the community and about what it's actually going to look like. So keeping, for the Council on Aging to kind of keep abreast of that, to make sure there actually is the right kind of housing and maybe get a foot in the door when it becomes available, or at least know how it's progressing. But they are ready to break ground over in West Concord on the property.
Have they sorted out the access on Winthrop Street to that piece of land?
My understanding is that they're ready to break ground. So my understanding is they've gone through whatever they need, but there was a lot of back and forth, and they made several presentations to the Finance Committee, and we just weren't clear on everything. But we, as the Finance Committee, do not have any, we can recommend financial issues that come up. We can recommend going ahead, or that we don't recommend or have no action, but we can't really have a say in what goes on. But as the Council on Aging, you would probably have a say, or at least be able to voice concerns if they come up. And if it turns out the housing is not available to what the market that we were told it was going to be available, You might,
Well,
I'm not sure how much I can say and how much I can't say because I'm not a member of the board. But just a heads up, you might want to keep an eye on how this is, since they have gotten enough money and gotten the terms, the town has voted for it and they're ready to break ground. It's going to happen. And people apparently want it to happen in town. The first, let's see, first available, I think it's only a year that Concord residents seniors would be given priority for the apartments. And that was one sticking point, but it's, I believe it's only the first year.
But you're saying there's no single meeting that we could be involved in to keep abreast of this, is that right?
It's really,
Okay.
I don't know whether the planning board is still involved. Of course, the Board of Selectmen was very much in favor of it. It would require, it's really following the developer and where the developer is going with the various parts of town, various committees in town, or if they've gotten all they needed for now. And it's just really making sure that in fact Concord residents do, at least for the first year, we're hoping to get more, get priority, and also the income level to make sure that the moderate and low, because market value is going to be much higher for these units.
So can I just say, I asked my husband who was on the planning board, and he was saying we could have, there's the Concord Housing Development Corporation meetings,
Okay,
and that we could have a liaison attend those. They're the ones who are building Junction Village. So I could get more information about when that is later.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, thank you, Andrea.
I'll retreat to my observer position.
Actually, I added you onto the agenda because I thought it would be good to give you an opportunity to speak about whatever is going on with the Finance Committee that you're allowed to speak about, so that you can bring things like this to our attention that we might want to follow.
Well, thank you.
So
Being a senior myself, I actually chose, I thought I was not going to be the observer this year after town meeting, but I asked if I could continue.
Nice.
Oh, thank you. Well, we love having you, and we do want to hear more from you. So, whenever you have something that you think would be of value for us to know, please feel free to speak up, because that is what these meetings are for.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's see. Disability Commission, Grazia is not on the meeting, so no report. Concord After 60, Terry.
yes. Okay, well, after the last meeting, I did pay my dues and become a member of the Concord After 60. I also had conversations with the two founders of the group, and that was cordial. There seems to be a little bit of technical difficulty in getting me added into their electronic infrastructure. So I guess Tom Rarick is working on that so that I can participate more actively. They're doing everything by Zoom now. So anyway, it's not a situation where I have much to contribute this time around.
Okay.
Except that I've joined, and they know I'm here, and so I am beginning to walk the beach with them.
Okay, very good. And we look forward to future reports.
Sorry, Caroline, can I just jump back to his earlier point? So my husband said the next meeting is October 28th at 5, and they're typically held on the fourth Monday of the month.
Okay. Does anyone want to volunteer to attend a meeting?
I'd be happy to attend.
Okay. So your husband's on that board, so you can go together.
No, he's not. He just looked into it.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks, Kristen.
You said
Okay,
October 24th at 5,
28?
28th.
28th. Okay.
But although it says it's typically the fourth Monday at 7, but whatever, because of COVID perhaps.
Okay. I think a lot of meetings get kind of jostled around these days. Okay, I don't actually have anything to report. We haven't had a chair's breakfast since the last meeting. The next meeting is this week. We'll have something to report next month. Andrea, do you have anything else you would like to contribute today?
No, the finance committee has not met much. We're having, since town meeting came so late, and instead of having the summer break, we have a fall break. So we have a meeting at the end of the month, Thursday. Yeah. And that'll be actually our second meeting since town meeting.
Okay.
So nothing.
Okay. And Susan Bates, our select board representative, is not able to make these meetings. So we're going to, after Ginger's report, we'll discuss when this board will meet in the future so that we can have the select board representation. Okay, Ginger. Turn it over to
Okay.
you.
Let me just start maybe with a few programming updates. So we did have the flu clinic. We did give, 143 shots because one person didn't show. We had 144 slots. It was very popular. I think we could have given a lot more than that, but you've probably been hearing about in the media, a little bit of a shortage on vaccine, particularly high dose. A lot more interest from the population in getting the flu shot this year. It's very hard to come by. We were fortunate that we only had, I think it was 6 people that were under the age of 65, and they just get the quad, they call the quad shot, and everybody else was over 65. And we did manage to get high dose for all of them, but it was a close call. It was, the inventory was very difficult. So the drive-through was fantastic. Huge amount of participation from police, and then DPW brought jersey barriers to be sure that nobody drove accidentally through the tent and hurt anybody. Went very well. Good planning leads to successful event. A few people have asked if there's going to be other drive-through clinics in Concord. I'm not aware of any, but I've just been referring people to the public health nurse or the public health department. We're not having any more events, but perhaps there is another one in town that I'm not aware of. We're about halfway through our Buried in Treasures group. That's a 15-week course that this is the second time we've done it. This addresses excessive clutter and hoarding sometimes in homes. It's a challenging issue for many people. So we're about halfway through that. And this is the second time we've done it. We weren't sure how it would go on Zoom, but there's a huge number of people interested. So seems to be going well on Zoom. So that has been good. We're still adding to our Zoom repertoire. especially where we seem like this is just going to go on and on. At first, you start out sort of slow, thinking, well, it's only a matter of months until we're open again, and then here we are, 7 months into it, we're still not open, and no end in sight. So we are adding, for instance, quilting has never been on Zoom before, but now we're going to put quilting on the Zoom, and people will just simply take their quilting projects and do it in front of the screen and be able to interact with other people during that. So we're still adding to it as we can. The staff got trained on some starting Zoom meetings and setting up Zoom meetings because we only had 2 people identified on the staff doing that. And it's a lot of pressure on those 2 people to keep in their schedule exactly what time to start exercise, to start the men's group, to start coffee and conversation. There's a lot going on, and we're all busy, and then you have to watch the clock and get ready to start a particular program at the right time. So we're going to spread that out a little bit amongst the staff, and I think that will take some of the burden off the 2 existing staff that have been doing it. So coming up, I really wanted us to do a bereavement support group. In the years past, we've done this sort of on a short-term basis, for a few months versus ongoing for a year. And while I always think it's important to offer bereavement once or twice a year, I think particularly now, not just because of bereavement due to COVID death, but bereavement about what it's like to lose someone in the midst of a pandemic where your normal grief process is not the same. Many people were not able to have services when they lost a loved one. They weren't able to get together with their family and close friends to support each other. So I think that brings a whole nother dynamic to bereavement. So we are going to do a short series. There'll be 1 meeting in November, 2 in December, and 1 in January. That'll be announced in our upcoming newsletter for people that have had experienced a loss. And we have someone from a hospice that has agreed to lead that group for us. So we think that'll be an important community offering. And lastly, I would just wanted to mention that the board gave me a directive to take a look at the out of town and under 60 policy. We have made some revisions to that. Those just got approved today by the deputy town manager. So there'll be some easing of that. Rather than going over every little point, I can email that to all of you, and you can sort of see how that has been changed. I think that it's a very fair compromise where we can make some exceptions under certain conditions without compromising Concord residents' ability to fully participate in what we're offering. So I'll email that out to you tomorrow, and then if you have any questions about that, you're welcome to get back in touch with me. And that's all I have, unless anybody has any specific questions.
No, sounds good. Okay. So for future meetings, the select board is continuing to meet Monday afternoons at 4. So I think it's in our best interest to change when we meet so that we can have a representative at our meeting. And I think Susan said Thursday afternoon or possibly Wednesday afternoon she could do at 4. Earlier in the day is also available to her. That's not really so good for me. I'd rather keep it later on in the day. So, any thoughts?
About Tuesday, somebody mentioned Tuesday. Is Tuesday a good day?
I think there's a meeting that's moving for her and then Tuesday becomes not good.
Okay. Well, Wednesday would be okay, but I need to do it late. Not
I have early morning doctor appointments on Wednesday.
What? I can't hear.
Oh, I have to go to the doctor every Wednesday, the wound center, so I can't do Wednesday morning. I have to do Wednesday afternoon. Can you hear me?
No.
Who cares? I'll probably hit mute. Oh,
No,
well.
you weren't muted, but I think you need to be closer to your microphone.
Oh, okay. I can't do Wednesday mornings.
Okay. If we did it Wednesday at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
I've written in that note, sorry, I coach Wednesdays and Friday afternoon. Now that won't go on through the winter, so, you know.
So
Yeah,
you're not,
I won't be able to, I guess it's just through November.
What time is that, Kristen?
Until 4:30, 4:45.
But Thursdays was okay for you, Kristen? So Thursday late afternoon, was that a possibility, Carol Ann?
yes, that's a possibility.
Thursday didn't work for me until 5:15, until the end of the year.
Okay.
Wednesday at 4 is better than Thursday at 4, because the beginning next week, there's going to be finance committee meetings every week, and it's Thursdays 7 to 10 or 11, and I can leave my store in time to do a 4 o'clock meeting. Right now, our hours are until 4, but I can leave for a 4 o'clock meeting. But Thursday, it means I'm working all day, going in 4 o'clock meeting, Council on Aging, and then the Finance Committee meetings at 7. It's tough to do. Wednesday would be preferable, or any other at 4.
Didn't Margaret also respond? I can't open my email right now. She had replied when you had suggested. Do you have her reply as well?
Yeah.
I mean, so you could go ahead with Wednesday. I'll miss 1 month, and then there'll be a problem in the fall when I coach, but it's almost the end of the fall, so that's when it has to be. But I feel like I don't remember what Margaret said.
I don't remember seeing Mars. Maybe I didn't realize that there was something else on the email.
I'll look it up. Here it is. She says Thursday at 4 is okay for me, although 5 would be better. So she didn't.
What about Wednesday at 5?
That works for me.
Works for me.
Ginger, is that okay?
I mean, yes, I mean, I don't want to get it too late because of course that I have to stay. And that makes it a very long day if the meetings don't get out till, 7:30 and I've been there since 8. But they've always used to be at 5. We just had tried to move them to 4, just the last few months. So I certainly am used to them being at 5. So I can make that work.
Okay.
Wednesday is under normal non-COVID conditions. Wednesday is an extremely busy day for us, but I can make it work once a month.
My conflict with Thursday actually would only affect November's meeting, and I might be able to switch that one so that I could be there. So, I mean, if everyone was good with
Andrea
Thursday.
Andrea
Thursday
couldn't
was
do
much
Thursday.
better for me.
I can do it. It's only one.
That's right.
So it'll just be a lot of Zoom. But Wednesday, Thursday at 4, 5 is too late because it runs into it'll run too close to the Finance Committee meeting. But 4 on Thursday, once a month I could do.
That would be best for me too, Thursday at 4.
And would that work for you, Kristen?
Yeah, that works for me. And again, Margaret says 4 works and 5 is better, but she did say 4 on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday.
Okay. So we switched Thursday to 4 o'clock?
Are we going to
And-
stay on second Thursday of the month? Is that what we're doing?
I think it's third
I think
Monday.
it's third. Oh, I wonder if, let me look at something. I wonder if that's when the housing committee meets. It's,
So November
oh
9th,
no, they meet the first Thursday of each month, right?
is that what everyone else has? Thursday, November 19th?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and then in
Yes, that's the
December,
third. Okay.
that would be the 17th.
This is at 4, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the consensus.
At least we won't run into Monday holidays moving it to
Yes,
Thursday.
yes, that was a big issue on Mondays. And then if you want to write it down in January, that's the 21st. And in February, it is the 18th. And that's as far as my book goes at the moment.
Okay, so are we agreed Thursday at 4, third Thursday of the month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have some new business on the agenda?
I don't have new business. Do you have new business?
Well, I kind of do.
Okay.
It has to do with preparing the taxes for the seniors. And in mid-November, we usually start the process of certification to prepare taxes. And it looks like the AARP is going to be doing this, but it's not clear that we're going to be able to help clients. If with the COA being closed, even if they opened a big room for us to take a client with 2 of the preparers, it's just not clear that that will work. There's only 2 of the 6 people who do preparation, only 2 are willing to meet with taxpayers in person, even distanced. The other thing the AARP was thinking about was having clients drop off their data and the preparers could do it at their own homes. Problem with that is the software that we use requires Chromebooks, and not all of the tax preparers have their own Chromebooks. So when we were at the Council on Aging, everybody used the same Chromebook. So it's not clear that we're going to be able to offer this service next year.
That will be
Okay.
awful. So many people rely on that.
I know. I mean, they're trying, but it's complicated because some people,
It is.
Everybody who prepares is older, and they don't want to be compromised either. But you know, so like for example, I could not do it at home. I do not have a Chromebook, and I'm not going to buy one. So, and I think there's only 1 out of the 6 of us that has a Chromebook. So. The problem.
So do you actually have to have a Chromebook, or can you just use Chrome as your browser?
No. It's the software is dependent on it. That's what it started last year. And we each of the facilities was given by the AARP was given a Chromebook so that we could do this. Yeah.
So will one person be given a Chromebook?
Well, 1 person has it. Of the 6 of us, 1 person has it, and we had it at the Council on Aging when we needed it, when everybody else needed it. But yeah, I don't know how that's going to work.
Well, let's see here.
Can I just ask a question? That's all right. So If you had 5 Chromebooks, would it solve the problem?
Only if we're allowed to, that's the other part of the issue is, would we be allowed to let people drop off their information to us? Right now, the information never leaves the client. The client comes to the COA, shows us their stuff, we prepare their taxes, and then they take everything home. We do not keep anything.
I was gonna ask that. A lot of people, I would think, would be cautious of leaving their financial.
Of course, yeah. And I think that's what the issue is with the AARP. They don't know how really you can do that.
Well, I think like that's how you had to get them done with H&R Block this year. They didn't see anybody in person either. So I think people were getting more accustomed to leaving their materials in the possession of a tax preparer and coming back for it at a later date because they had no choice. I mean, I guess AARP.
Well, they are professionals. We're volunteers, so I'm not too sure whether the same rules might hold, you know?
Well, I guess people could have a choice. If AARP is comfortable with it, people don't have to do it that way. They can choose to go to a private tax preparer.
Right.
But
right.
if they are
AARP
comfortable,
has not made a definitive statement on that yet. So I don't know.
well, I mean, I think I could say that, you know, I think COA still needs to be the middleman to help you out. Like maybe the documents have to be, you know, dropped at the COA for your preparers to pick up to protect your privacy as volunteers. So if we can help with that, you know, we can. We do have a Dropbox. I don't know though, you know, like that's made for something small. If somebody's going to drop off a big fat manila envelope with stuff in it, that's not going to fit in the Dropbox. We'd have to think about how to handle that.
Yeah, and the clients that we have sometimes do not have everything available and have to be told, and you have to talk to them to know what they're missing. It's not so easy to just have everybody just drop something off at your house or at the COA and we pick it up. So they're thinking about it. They're looking at it. I don't know what's going to happen, but we're still, I know, on schedule to certify. So we'll be taking our tests in January and either certify. So, you know, if something happens, we'll do it.
Well, thank you for the heads up. Who thought last year that when you had to stop halfway through the program, that it would still be a problem in the next tax year?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, whatever the COA can do to help, even if it's also, if you get another couple of Chromebooks and we have to be the drop-off point for the Chromebook so that another volunteer can pick up the Chromebook, you know, if we can facilitate in that way. I mean, I think it does probably mean somebody ringing the doorbell, you know, because we're not going to be able to fit anything into the Dropbox and it's too valuable. The Chromebook's too valuable and the documents need to be held confidentially.
Exactly.
Until the tax preparer could pick up, and ideally it would be the same day. I mean, I don't want to take responsibility for keeping someone's private documents overnight if I can help it. You know, if it can just be a client drops it off, you know, 10 in the morning, the tax preparer picks it up at 11, that'd be great.
Yeah, except we haven't gotten the okay for that kind of thing yet. So as soon as I find out what they think we can do, we will try and work it out. So
Could you just give us an estimate, please, of how many clients your group served in 2019?
Yeah, about 110.
Okay, 100. So somewhere between 100 and 150 is a ballpark estimate for this coming year.
Probably.
Okay.
Because we usually did completely fill the appointment slots that were available. I don't know how much of a waiting list we had of people that would have liked to have gotten in that couldn't. I don't know.
Oh, so it was basically used to the maximum capacity.
I think
yes.
So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was done by 6 6 individuals. That is a lot of work.
Well, usually the taxes are simple, not always. But yeah.
And still, that's a lot of work.
Okay, well, hopefully something will work out between now and tax season. So ARP will give guidance, Carol?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we look forward to further developments, but hopefully something will work out. Does anyone else have any new business?
I was just hoping Rod could tell us a little bit about himself.
Ah,
Oh, well, thank you for asking. I am recently retired. I'm a scientist by training. I've just spent 37 years in pharmaceutical research and development, mainly on the research side and mainly interacting with FDA. And I love to garden. So you may pass my house on Main Street and you'll see lots of flowers between the sidewalk and the curb. Got 2 beautiful grandchildren. One son lives here in Massachusetts, in Belmont, he and his wife and my 2 grandchildren. And my other son lives in Park City, Utah. And he is single. I'm a widower. My wife, Leslie, passed away back in 2009. She was very active in town, used to work at the Concord bookshop, was the librarian at the Fenn School. And then she and a group of people formed the Porter Square books. So we have in Porter Square in Cambridge. Have a lot of books in the house. We were both avid readers, and I'm just happy to help out wherever you need me. So, thanks a lot.
Well, thank you so much for your interest. We appreciate that. How did you learn about the Council on Aging?
I'm taking care of 2 older relatives. One, my mother is 96 and my mother-in-law who's 97. They're both out of state. I can give advice on how to travel safely in the COVID time because I've been flying since last December back and forth to Florida on a monthly basis and driving or flying to North Carolina. I just filled out the green card. And I think they just decided that since I was 70 years old, that the council.
well, someone gave me your name. It may have been Terry, our select board representative, or maybe it was you, Ginger. I know your name came off the list.
Oh, okay, well, there you go.
I didn't know about you. I'm happy to know about you, but I didn't know about you before today. So I'm very happy that you have some interest in serving, and happy to have a conversation with you, or even an appropriately masked meeting with you in person if you'd like to learn more before you make a final decision about whether you want to serve or not.
Oh, I've decided I want to serve. It's really up to you folks as to whether you want me. So that's
Oh, we definitely want you.
okay. Well, then it's a done deal. Then we're all
Okay.
set.
Well,
But I'd still like to. I'd be
Town
happy
manager
to follow up
has to-
with. I'd be happy to follow up with Ginger at your convenience and learn a bit more about the background and the history of it.
good.
There is an appointment process. You have to go through some training. You have to meet with the town manager. You have to be sworn in. This seems to be a very slow process. I need to be reappointed.
Okay.
And
Well, I dealt with the FDA, so I know about paperwork. Okay.
I
hear
don't think
ya.
of it as FDA. Okay. Is that it for this meeting? Or anybody have anything else to contribute? Michael, you've been very quiet today.
Oh, you're
Oh,
muted.
you're muted.
That's why he's quiet.
I didn't want you to be disturbed by me. It's been a slow day for me. But glad to have another man on the committee, Ron. That would really give me some company.
Okay. Okay,
All
well,
right,
thank you, everyone.
Good to see everybody.
And we,
Thank you.
So we have to
Okay.
set up the meetings. Ginger, can you set up the meetings for Zoom?
I'll do the Zoom, yeah, for the rest of the year, I guess, at Thursday at 4 on the third Thursday.
Right.
So not third, what would we say? Third?
Yes, the third Thursday.
Third
Third
Thursday.
Thursday at 4. Yes,
Yep,
okay.
I'll do that.
So Dan Reardon will also be at the next meeting.
Okay.
Is that right? I just tell him and he comes?
He comes, yes.
Comes as an observer first and then decides if he's interested in serving.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
You.
Good night, everybody.
We'll see you next
Thank you.
month.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.